So, as we go through and write this essay paragraph, we need to keep in mind a few things. First, we need to understand what our question is. So go ahead and put your question at the top of the paragraph sheet. This way, we have a reference of what we're actually writing about. That way, we remember what we're writing about. Next, we are going to want to write our answer in. This can be our claim. Our claim is typically our answer to the question. In this case, no, we should not make Ammon a utopia, plus 3 reasons, because of 1, 2, and 3. Since this paragraph will focus on one reason, I'm going to just put the one reason down under the reason you will focus on. My reason, number one reason, is that magic would be abolished. So no, we should not make Ammon a utopia because magic would be abolished. Now, as we go through, we're going to change the reason answer in each one of these questions. As you notice, it says reason and answer in big caps with an underline on each question. Our introduction, we will leave alone. Our evidence, we would change this. Instead of saying cite the evidence to support the reason in your introduction sentence, we would say cite the evidence that supports that magic being abolished would be a bad thing. Now you want to make sure to transition into the evidence smoothly, so we give an introduction. Now, before we move on and start to write this, let's fill in the reason and answer with the rest of these. What are the ideas in the evidence saying about magic being abolished and it not being good in Ammon? Again, why did what I just wrote about the evidence show that magic being abolished would not be good in Ammon? Now, the next question, how does my reason, magic being abolished, or what I just wrote, show that it's not good in Ammon? And finally, why is what I just wrote important to show that magic being abolished is not good in Ammon? So now that we have all of our questions changed, we will still tweak them throughout, but each question should reference back to that main answer and claim. So that way we're always coming back to those main ideas that we want to talk about. So let's start with the introduction. If I were introducing this, I want to incorporate those ideas of my reason, magic would be abolished, and my answer, that we should not make Ammon a utopia because of that. So here is my introduction sentence in green. Ammon and Idaho Falls would fall apart if magic was taken away like it is in utopias. Next, we will cite our evidence. Now, when we put in our evidence, we need to make sure that we cite it properly, that we have our author's last name, and everything needs to be in quotation marks and word for word. Additionally, when we do this, we need to make sure that the evidence is introduced by an introductory transition into the evidence. Here's my evidence. Many notable scholars and fairies have said, this is my introduction, my transition into the evidence. Now here's my quoted evidence. Notice the quotation marks. Magic is the lifeblood of the communities that surround the world. Many perfect communities fail without it. Take it away, and people will turn back to their paper and pen ways of the old days. Fairies. There is the evidence quoted from the text. Now, our explanation. Now that we've gotten our evidence in and our introduction, now we can start with our explanation. I'm going to ask, well, what are the ideas in the evidence saying about magic being abolished and that not being good in Ammon in your own words? So I would say something to the effect that, oh, this shows that taking magic away would be very detrimental to the local society, destroying the lifestyle that has been established for a very long time. That would be my answer. And there's my answer. Now, I need to change this next question. And so instead of just leaving it, why does what I just said about the evidence show that magic being abolished would not be good in Ammon? I'm going to say this. Why does what I just said about the evidence show that getting rid of magic is not good for Ammon? My answer is that taking away magic would cause the society to collapse because people in Ammon rely so much on the help it gives them to do daily tasks. The next question is, how does my magic being abolished, or what I just wrote, show that Ammon is not good in Ammon? Let's rephrase that question based on what I just said. Let me try this question. How does taking away magic show that Ammon cannot be a utopia? That's a good question. So I wonder, how would that make Ammon not a good utopia? Well, I could say that without the magic, people in Ammon would have to start working harder for things. And that people who have not been without magic for such a long time, well, it would cause a lot of people to get mad. So here's my answer. So now my final question. I'd like to know, why is what I just wrote about show that magic being abolished is not good in Ammon, Idaho? Well, let's check it out. So the question I'm going to ask is very simple. I'm going to take what I just wrote and I'm going to replace it here in what I just wrote. So here is my question. Why is knowing that people get mad be important to show that Ammon should not be a utopia because of no magic? Well, we need to answer that question. I would say that the possibility of people getting angry would further destroy the community, so magic has to stay in order to maintain peace and progress in Ammon. So to throw that in here, that's my answer. Now that I have all of my answers there, I can select everything up to the introduction, copy that, and I'm going to put it right down here beneath here. And I'm just going to erase my questions. Okay, so now that I've erased the questions and pulled everything into a paragraph form, you can see that it is looking more and more like a paragraph. Now, all I have to do is just select everything, make sure that it is not bold, and change the font text color to black. And there's your paragraph. All you have to do now is read through, edit for transitions and formal language, make sure that it's clear, and if there's anything that's unclear, to make that clear again, and your paragraph is done.